Hi, I'm Sharon Bill. In my lessons on Patreon, I now turn my attention to the ABRSM Grade 5 2022 Practice Exam Paper booklet. Once you have completed the ABRSM Discovering Music Theory workbooks for grades 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, practice exam papers are an excellent revision tool. In this particular lesson, I work through the ABRSM Grade 5 2022 Practice Exam Paper D. I work through every single section of the exam, looking at topics including rhythm, pitch, keys and scales, intervals, tonic triads, musical terms and signs, and music in context. The full lesson can be found on my Patreon channel. If you visit patreon.com/Sharon Bill, you can find the full lesson there, and you can find links to this lesson in the cards and in the description box below. After this short little video, you can see sample examples taken from the full Patreon lesson, showing you how I work through the entire exam paper, just as if I was sitting next to you. Once you are ready to take your ABRSM Grade 5 Music Theory exam, I've written an exam technique guide, How to Take Your ABRSM Music Theory Exam. It's full of tips and techniques on how to be best prepared for your exam, and also how to make the very best use of your time when you're actually taking the exam. This book is available from Amazon, and you can find links to this in the cards and in the description box below. Enjoy your studies.
We have a bar in simple time. We're grouping in crotchet beats. We have 4 crotchet beats. 1, 2, 3, 4 crotchet beats. And we need to convert this into compound time. So we need to keep the musical effect. So we need to stay in quadruple time. So instead of 4 crotchet beats, we need to now 1, 2, 3, we need to have 4 dotted crotchet beats, which will be 12 over 8. We just saw that in the previous question, didn't we? And so in order to stretch groups of 2 into groups of 3 quaver beats, we need to get rid of the triplets, and we add a dot. Now, instead of adding a dot here and here, what we can do instead is add a duplet. So that will stretch 2 into the time of 3. That dot will stretch, and then we don't need to squish these. We need to stay in these groups of 3, so we get rid of the triplets. That's what we're looking for. So which one of these is correct? Well, they've all got the correct time signature. So we need to have no triplet, that's correct. A duplet, that's correct. No triplet and a dot. So that's the one we want, isn't it? Let's see why these aren't correct. So we don't want that triplet, do we? And then here they've actually changed the time value, and they've made this into a crotchet by kind of changing the rhythm, so that won't do. So we are correct indeed. A little bar of music that's sounding pitch for the trumpet in B flat. So when a trumpet plays note C, it sounds a B flat. And so for it to be written to sound at this, it must be up a major second. So we need to figure out how this is going to look transposed up a major second. So we take this key signature and take it as it's in the major. Of course, it could be minor, but your accidentals would deal with that. So here we have F major, and so up a major second, a whole tone from F takes us to G. We can see that. So we need to be in G major, which we are here. So we can put a tick there, I guess. But let's now look at everything else. So everything's got to be a step higher. So from F to G, from B to C. Now here, this flat has been raised into a natural. So this one's going to have to be raised. So in actual fact, it's going to have to be a C sharp, isn't it? This raises to a D, And then here, this raises to an E, but this has been lowered by a semitone, so this must also be lowered by a semitone. So we should have an E flat, so we should have this. So what have we got here? We've got the G, that's correct. Now we have the C, but it's not been sharpened, so that's incorrect. They've not raised it. We have the D, but then they've flattened it, which they shouldn't do. It should just be D. And then here, this should be an E flat. And in actual fact, they've gone up even higher than that. And they've raised it to a third, haven't they? So that's also incorrect. So there we go. So we've got to complete this scale. Notice it's a descending scale. And before we go any further, we know that a scale must have, because scale means steps, it must go space, line, space, line. So we know that. Now we're in D harmonic minor, which is related, well, D minor is related to F major, which has a key signature of B flat. And then the harmonic minor must have the raised seventh, which is a C sharp. Now remember, this is descending, so it's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So to make sure we've got the correct harmonic minor descending scale, this C must be sharpened, and then here the B must be flattened to represent the key signature applied as an accidental. So that's all the information we need. So X must be C sharp, and then Y must be B flat. So we must make sure we come down in the harmonic minor version, not the melodic minor. And again here, we've got an octave, we've got a compound. So let's jump the octave from this D to this D. So we're in the bass clef, G, F, E, D, jump it up the octave. So we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have a fifth, and that's D to A, which would be perfect. We don't have major or minor. D to A is perfect. Nothing's been changed, so it can stay as that. So we need to think, we've got a key signature of F sharps, and there's nothing else telling us otherwise. We are indeed in G major. And so now we can think out which chords we're going to be choosing from. Chords 1, 2, 4, and 5. So G is the basis of chord 1, the root of chord 1, G, A, B, C, D. Build your triad, G, B, D, A, C, E, C, E, G, D, F, A. Of course it's F sharp, but your key signature will deal with that. And we need to think about a cadence point, so we need to be bearing in mind, is it a perfect cadence, is it a plagal cadence, is it imperfect? And the notes here will tell us, we may not get all of the notes, but we'll get enough to tell us which chord will fit, because every melody line always implies a harmony. However, we do also have some sort of in-between passing notes. So here, this is the melody note that's part of the harmony. This is a passing note, and then here we come to the melody note, which is the harmony again. That's just a passing note step in between. So we have B, G, B. That's enough to tell us it's a chord 1. And then here we have A, F sharp, D. That's a chord 5, and that works in absolutely to show that it's an imperfect cadence, which makes perfect sense, if you'll pardon the pun, because it's not the end. We don't want it to sound finished yet. And I suggest we use this section here to glean as much possible revision opportunities we can. So I suggest that you go ahead, do a bit of revision if you need to, and then come back to the video, go ahead and give all of these their appropriate term, just as a revision opportunity, rather than just choosing which one you think might be the answer. Give all of these their definitions or terms in order to make the best use of this so that you're super duper prepared for your exam. So here we go, decisive. Well, we can sort of see the root word decisive. It means with determination. But let's go on and give these their terms. So try these on your own. Don't just passively copy with me, because you'll just forget it. Even if you get it sort of massively wrong. That is okay. It's better to learn that way than just by copying. So I'm hoping you've had a go. So graceful, again, you can see the root word, grazioso, sorrowful, like a dolorous. That is that a word? That seems to make sense. Doloroso. And mysterious, again, mysterioso. Not too difficult to get that one. Is the music in simple duple time, so groups of 2 and 2 beats per bar. Our time signature is ABRSM, which is 2/2, which is 2 minute beats per bar, which we can see divides into 2 crochets. So yes, indeed, that's true.